bias. The assumptions we make, the perspectives we carry, and how they shape the way we see other people and the world around us. But instead of trying to point fingers or say what's right or wrong, this space is about slowing things down, about having honest conversations, sharing real experiences, and trying to understand what lies beneath those first impressions. So whether you're here to reflect, to challenge your own perspective, or just to listen, you are welcome here. This is Beneath Bias, unveiling one story at a time.
Imagine this. You live in a country where expressing who you are could cost you your safety or even your freedom. But online through a game, a username, an avatar, you can be someone else or maybe your real self. Welcome to Beneath Bias. Today, we're exploring how queer individual navigates identity and expression in restrictive environment and why digital space, especially gaming, have become such powerful tools but also risky one. So let's start with our own bias. Today, me, Bustomi, and Marianna will be the main host for this episode. And then before we start, we're gonna have a bit conversation about restrictive environment for queer people. So Marianna, what do you think about the restrictive environment?
I think that's quite of a tough question because I believe that I lived my whole life in a restrictive environment, but this totally also biased because I've never lived somewhere else. But when I was living in Greece, I felt some moments that I couldn't express my opinion, or my opinion when I was expressing it, it felt wrong quite in the surrounding. So restrictive environment for me is not having the allowance of talking freely, be myself, and people hearing what I'm saying, not just opposing their opinion, or not their opinion, but what they know it's right.
Yeah.
So restricted environment for me is mostly socially, because laws can be there, but the society is the one that creates the environment that you're living in and who you can be in the environment.
Yeah, exactly. And also when we talk about restrictive environments, like me personally, I came from Indonesia, Southeast Asia. When we focus or take a specific into queer or gender identity, it's kind of like really taboo to talk in country where I came from, because even in my country we don't even use like pronouns like he, hims, or she or hers. We only use like one word to specify pronouns. So when I come here, of course I have like a bias. Like sometimes I made a mistake when I say they pronouns. So because we're not using that,
and that's okay. This is how you learn how it is. But just a clarification question. This is on the language level, like on the language how you speak. You don't have the pronouns to refer to someone.
Yes, exactly.
But you still separate it.
So
feel.
So when we use that words, it's depend on the context who we will talk. But we not revert gender on that specific words. So so I also have like my own bias about this one. And about the restrictive environments, like talking about the gender identity, of course, like in Indonesia, it's like still like people still are not really open minds about it, because most of ours is like religious and conservative. So culture is also shaping how we think about that. And that's how I see restrictive environment. And when we talk about restrictive environment, we also know about like the online environments. Yeah. Have you ever heard about it, like a social media or gaming? Of
course, I'm 25. I live in the 21st century. Of course, I have social media. And I believe the social media and therefore the internet is our form of freedom in this century. Sometimes, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I feel more on myself. No, I feel more myself when I think about how I want to present myself on social media. I have never used video games, so I don't know how it is to form yourself there. But definitely in Instagram or TikTok, of course, I don't care who is going to judge me or not, but there I can present myself as how I want to be, how I want to be also in society.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I also play like social media, like a TikTok, Instagram, to scrolling, and I get addicted by that. And also, I kind of like a gamers. I would say, like, I play game online. So I play many games just to talk with people in online environments. But yeah, but we're gonna move specific into focus into games, like how we use a game to explore our identity. So to explore this topic a bit deeper, we're joined by Mars Kampa, and who has been working closely on issues of digital identity and queer expression in restrictive environment, and also Ronja Rößner, who is a game developer and creator of Canvas of Thought. So welcome, Mars and Ronja.
Welcome. I'm gonna say that I'm Marianna, and I have never said that on a previous episode. My pronouns are she, her, so also for the crowd to know about me.
Yeah, and my name is Bustomi. My pronoun is he or him. And so before we starting, maybe you guys can give like introduction to us, who you are and what focus topic in this field.
Maybe Mars.
Maybe Mars.
Okay. Hello. Hi, I am Mars. My pronouns are they, them, but I'm using any pronouns. I have experience in international activism, mostly in LGBT spaces and women's spaces. I took part in organizing protests for abortion access in Poland and organizing local and international queer spaces. We organized pride marches in some areas. So that's my main area of expertise. And I am a gamer. I do partake. And I maybe, or as a person who's already 33, remember slightly freer internet than just social media, which I hope we'll have second to talk about later on.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Hi, I'm Ronja. I'm 24 years old. I'm from the south of Germany. Now I'm living in Vienna and part of Benelux Games. I work here since like 1 year ago. I studied interactive media and games business, so I'm a game developer. And we're currently working on Canvas of Thoughts. It's like a cozy puzzle and point-and-click adventure about autism. So the main character has autism, and we follow her through her everyday life, because I thought like there are not many games with the like main focus autism. There are like characters here and there, like say with queer characters, like, but it's not the main topic in a lot of games. So I wanted to change it. And fun thing, later on, I also got my autism diagnosis, so maybe I sense something there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. You find something missing in the game industry and you hop into that. That is very interesting, actually.
Exactly. So to start simply, maybe we can talk about restrictive environments in your opinions. Like, what does that actually looks like in real life? Maybe Mars, do you have any opinions about it?
So I've been brought up in south of Poland. I spent the first 20 years of my life there before I immigrated abroad. And the way I saw the restriction within my environment is, of course, especially in the south of Poland, even before, as a kid in the 90s, before we joined the European Union, the options that we had were limited not only because of our sexuality, maybe, but also because of our gender. And I'm not even talking specifically about being non-binary at this stage, because that maybe wasn't self-explored in my case. But even just, you wouldn't believe how difficult it might be to just be a tall woman in the society. That's already some part of a restriction that is very invisible. It's, of course, tiny part of that network that was easy to see. But of course, growing up, you learn more. You learn that women maybe weren't allowed to do certain things take certain jobs. Even before joining European Union, women couldn't be minors,
No.
which men love to sometimes in heated debates say that why won't we seek equal opportunities in the mines? Well, women in Poland did very hard and fought for that during my lifetime. And then, of course, came self-exploration of further gender identity, which I invite every one of our listeners to do. It doesn't matter if you're partaking as a cisgender individual or a transgender individual or a non-binary. That is a part of just human experience to explore that. I think the 20s are a beautiful age to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe earlier if you're feeling the pull towards it and interest in it, but you can really like feel centered in your gender. I feel like once you go through that exploration, and what that will show you is certain deconstruction of biases that are in the society, even if you're aware of transphobia or you're aware of discrimination on any other field. You might just not see the water you're swimming in quite right. The the tallness is a funny idea, but I know that's something that trans misogyny is related to. For example, a tall woman is already suspicious nowadays, right? People who are transphobic already might project something on a tall woman. What is her gender? Is it her real gender?
Have you experienced that personally in your life?
Oh, yes, of course. Especially as right now I present quite feminine, not as androgynous as I used to. I used to have a bald shaved head and a colorful bleached shaved head and run around like this. But that was only possible, at least safely for me, once I immigrated. Before that, even being just a short haired and wearing masculine clothing and being in public might already give people the spook, as I call it. Now it's quite funny to me when people are approaching someone and then they get surprised that maybe some of their biases were immediately snapped out of. But yeah, as a younger person in a restrictive environment, it was something that could have been dangerous. I experienced hate crimes. I experienced physical violence regarding to the gender presentation and sexuality. And it didn't feel systemic back then. Back then, it felt it's just, a drunk guy reacted. Yeah. And once you spend a little more time in the self-exploration, you start seeing the water for what it is. Of course, Poland has a long way to go regarding those issues, a very long way to go. Although I think the kids are okay. I'm not a doomer in that sense. I think the kids are okay from what I see from what we've experienced during organizing for women's rights. One of the biggest protests in modern Polish history since it became independent, fully independent. In '89, it was the biggest protests for women's rights.
Yes.
That was the political issue. So I think the kids are okay, and we have the fight ahead of us, but radical hope is really only option we can have.
Yeah, the world is changing radically day by day, but year by year, as it was,
of course,
30 years ago. But I'm very curious when video gaming joined in your life, like on your whole exploration, like growing up, searching for things. What was the point that you found playing video games, like something that you want to do, like if you have the sense of belonging there?
I mean, I'm a person who started gaming before or like right at the cusp of the memories I have. So as long as I can remember, literally, it wasn't, I didn't have a computer back then. It was called a Pegasus, and that was a East European version of like very pirated and put together old Nintendo consoles, I think, that run Mario very good. That was important. And ever since then, one thing always repeated. It was always a male protagonist, right? Male or a blob. Those were the options that we were given. You could either be a genderless blob that's vaguely circular and very nice, like Kirby, or you could be a Mario and a plethora of other male protagonists. It isn't suspicious to a kid. Why is it like that? Up until you get a computer and a couple years after, you discover Lara Croft. But there's something strange about her when you're a little girl. First of all, women aren't that triangular. Second of all, they aren't that triangular either. But there you have it. There you have a first big female protagonist in your life. And you're excited because you can kind of feel that she's also a girl. But you do have a sinking suspicion that she's not like a regular girl. She's not like other girls. She's for male consumption, of course, but you don't know that yet. And for a very long time in the early 2000s, those were the new options. There was a blob, there was a man, and there was a female for male consumption. Those were the three genders you could choose as a gamer. It took quite a long time, and until like quite recently, until that really came into question.
Okay. That is actually so interesting because I've never thought about it like that. I was playing Nintendo as a kid, of course. It was the first digital toy, wow. But I have never seen that perspective. I've never questioned it, and it's actually quite genius of you seeing that version that something was missing, and at the same time, what is it? But maybe at that point, I would like to ask Ronja, where does you think that this shift came, or what are the new variables we take into account when we are starting to create a new video game? We're taking into account the gender or our target group. Who is actually gonna use it as a person?
Yeah, I think the change is slowly happening. It's getting better and better. But I think still I read a study I think 70 or 80% of characters and main characters in game are still male. In our game, she's female. I was very proud about that because we had a discussion in the beginning. Should she be a male? Because autism is statistically more prominent in boys, but that's not that true because a lot of girls don't get diagnosed. So I see also in other game devs it's getting more and more focus. A lot of female-led games. Also queerness also gets a bigger topic, but still it's a lot of people are very careful about that. Because when you do it as the main topic, they say, yeah, it's just about queerness. It's not about the character behind it. If it's just a trope. So for us, it's our main character is 11-year-old. So sexuality is not that big of discussion yet, but we don't specify it. We don't say she's that and she does that. But also a lot of side characters are just queer in our game, but it's not the discussion, oh wow, they're queer, let's point at them. It's just part of the story without being how to say it, without being the woke trope, just we have a woke character, queer character.
Yeah, that is really interesting because me personally, when I play games, I used to play something like a role-playing games, and they allow me to customize the characters, which is usually I take a female or woman characters because they offer me really good a uniform or amazing or epic uniform. So I'm just thinking that's really cool, but I never see that point of view about how the characters of your games, characters in your games, is it it's your second identity or something like that? And before we moving forward, I'm just curious about gaming and identities, and we also talk about the avatars. So in gaming, people can create avatars and identities. Do you see that's as an escape from reality, a place to experiment, or something deeper?
I think escape from reality, but it isn't a bad thing. I think it's normal. We dive into stories. Same with books, movies. We identify most of the time with some part of a character, a movie, a game. And I think it's not something negative and even something you should encourage, because like there's this like how do you say, a cliche that men can play female characters because they can connect with that, and I think that's just stupid, because I grew up playing most of the time male characters, except when Sims came and I did a lot of funny characters. Like when you're 12 years old, oh, there's a character. How big can the boobs get? Because like you're a teenager, you try out everything. And I think it's something positive. And for example, recently the new Tomodachi Life came out from Nintendo. It's a crazy hit because you can do anything. Like you can customize even more, and people do a lot of cool and also crazy stuff. And I think it's something positive. But like custom character creation doesn't fit every game, I think.
Okay.
Like story games where it's very important how the character behaves and stuff like that. It makes sense to have a fixed character. But also, for example, I think Assassin's Creed games nowadays do it really good. They have female, male, and male version. But I remember the outrage in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It was originally planned that only that you only can play the female character. Like it was the first time a female lead Assassin's Creed game, and the outrage was crazy. So they added a male character, and that's kind of weird. Then I think
it's not weird. It's experiencing, like how Mars said. In your 20s is the beautiful age to
explore.
To explore. And why not do that through something that you can enjoy as well, and you feel accepted by everyone? I don't know, how is the community also in video games? Is it strong? Is something strong that you feel a sense of belonging? Maybe Mars, you can help me on that.
If I can join it to something that Ronja just mentioned about strongly narrative games being difficult to build for a universal character that's, you can modify endlessly. But we have games where you cannot modify character at all. And yet the community, with certain canon basis, but mostly the community fandom base, decides things about character that maybe writers weren't putting in 100% intentionally. One of the best games I've ever played, and honestly the reason that I moved to a Baltic state, is Disco Elysium. I don't know how well you know Disco Elysium.
Yeah, I know. It's like more like a reading.
It's a book you can play, but it's a wonderful book, and there is a strong fandom push to interpret Harry Dubois as a queer person. Of course, canonically, there is no spoilers. Certain part of a discovery, mostly sexuality, that you can take or not, you can internalize or not, but the fandom so often interprets those characters as either gender bent or in drag, because changing clothes has such an immaculate effect on the personality, the psyche of the character, or straight up as just an egg, so a trans person who's not aware of their transness just yet. That even in explicitly so hard-built game, when it comes to the personality of a main character, those stories can be explored. For example, in the fandom places. Fandom spaces can be quite intense for people who are in the midst of self-discovery. They can also be life-saving. It is depending on how you can manage your own social media and how you can manage your own internet access. And, sometimes those games and different games pull such a varied crowd that you just have to know how to interpret certain things, where to go, where maybe not necessary to go. I remember when the biggest platform on to go to as a fandom was Tumblr.com, which is still alive.
Yeah, I think so.
Our poor dog, he's still alive, barely. Every year it does something and we're afraid that we're never going to see him again, and then still alive.
He shows up.
Yeah, it's a place where you can manage a lot. Like, for example, Instagrams, all the Facebooks, all the TikToks won't really let you do a blacklisting, or won't really let you do the tag management, won't really let you manage your own algorithm. That is something that I feel in fandom is important to hold on to, and it's important to do, especially as a queer person, especially as a young person or neurodivergent person. Finding those spaces that allow you to curate what you're experiencing and what you're being put out for, and then you can find real magic within any fandom. Really, the funniest fandoms, the smallest, silliest fandoms, can have a discourse you wouldn't believe.
I also had a question from before that I really wanted to ask. So feel free, whoever wants to answer this. If someone relies on gaming as a space of freedom, because as you described it, I can see like the freedom of freedomness and authentic self-expression, do you think there is any side effects in real life social interactions? Maybe personally experience something that you want to share?
I think yes, because like some fandoms are very, how to say, tough, like a bit toxic and very tight knitted, and like a very not so nice to people that are just joining the fandom. But also like side effects and the thing of friends. It sounds weird to tie friends as side effects, but like through gaming and through communities, a lot of friendship grew. And like without gaming, I wouldn't have studied what I studied, because like I wanted to like be a game dev since I was 6 years old when I got my first PC.
Wow.
But like back then, they always said there are no jobs in gaming, don't do it. Then I moved to Vienna and boom, I found out, oh, you can actually study that. So it was
shocking.
I think it's in games that everything can happen. It's like an interactive movie. Like you find friends, Discord communities, and like the internet got so much bigger like since I started using social media. So yeah.
So what you're saying is that the video gaming and this whole industry is also real life.
Yes.
Right.
This point, like I work in it, so it is my life, but also like discussions like at work, but also like with friends. Like a lot of it is about gaming or memes from gaming. So
Yeah.
it's part of my everyday life.
Yeah, I can hear that. At this point, we reached the close of our discussion. It was amazing talking to you guys, and I have so many more questions after this talk.
Maybe before we end up the session, I'm just curious, like, do you guys like I play games a lot, and also I play games like, but do you have any recommendation like games to our audience based on your personal experience that they can use to explore, or this game is like a safe space for us to explore ourselves?
I can strongly recommend the game Grease. I think it's pronounced that way in English. In English, it's like a game about depression, and it's so beautiful made. But it's like not, they don't specifically say, oh, this character has depression. It's like very beautiful made. And also it's for my indie team. I like would really recommend try out indie games more, because they get way less marketing, but like more indie games made me cry than AAA games.
Yeah. Usually they have like really, really good story, and I love it.
And then you see like 1 or 5 person made it, and you think, how did you do that?
Yeah. And how about you, Mars? Do you have any recommendation?
Absolutely, turning to indie games. Sure, AAAs can be fun. They're made to be fun. Sometimes they're made to be too fun and too addicting. Yeah, just as Ronja said, nothing will make you cry or feel as deeply as an indie game that you found that has 130 downloads on itch.io. And you can DM the dev, just spilling your heart out after it. No game will also have as devoted followers usually as those. So there's usually a very good place to join other people who played it and other people who enjoyed it. I think one of the true classics I can feel is Unpacking, which is a game about sorting stuff. It's a game that my partner recommended to me very early on in our relationship. And yeah, a game about sorting items can make you cry.
I love the game as well. So.
Okay, I will try your recommendation. And yeah, thank you both for coming and having a discussion with us. It is really insightful and was a pleasure having you here. But before you go, is there anything you would like to say to our audience? Maybe last statement.
Try things. Experiment with things. Don't be afraid to try things, even if they don't seem be directly targeted to you, that they don't seem to be made especially for you. We're so used to algorithms that just push extremely curated content that's just for us, but that's not where the growth lies. Just try things that you wouldn't even expect yourself enjoying sometimes. Who knows?
Yeah, amazing.
For me, it's okay to express yourself. It's very important to express yourself. But I understand, in some countries, it's not that easy. So be safe. Express yourself in safe spaces where nothing can happen to me. And use social media. Social media helped me so much in my life to widen my horizon, fighting against my own biases because of how I grew up. And you can really make friends there.
Yeah.
That was moving. I really liked it.
And thank you again for joining us today. It is really insightful, and it was a pleasure for having you guys. And about the next episode, will be a live event on the 22nd of May at Studenterhuset Copenhagen in collaboration with Actory. And who is our special guest, Marianna?
Yeah, there will be special guests, but generally we will talk about greenwashing and development with our special guest, Associate Professor in the Center of African Studies at Copenhagen University, Stig Edward Jensen. There will be great discussions, audience interaction, food and drinks, of course. Don't forget to sign up though. You can find that link in the description below. The event will be, of course, recorded and uploaded in our channel as usual. If you like us, please give us a rating and review and tell your friends about us. This has been DDRN Presents Beneath Bias, unveiling one story at a time.